get started. Does anyone want to get out?
Hi, everybody. This is Nick from the Phoenix Press, and welcome to the Friday Night Frenzy, where Super Wonder is canon, and the topics are more like a set of guidelines. Hey, Keely Chow. Sorry for starting a bit late. We kind of had a bit of a nerd argument in the little pre-show, so let's bring our co-host.
Master Chief, you mind telling me what you're doing on that ship?
Sir, finishing this fight.
Hello there.
Apparently, I crossed over into a different multiverse where apparently the Phoenix Press respects the best ship. Wow.
Yes, so I'm kind of in a sense of renewal here. So, Jared, how about we negotiate a peace treaty right here, right now? So,
Okay.
as you guys know, me and Jared have kind of been into like a full war over like Wonder Bat, Super Wonder, and he's brought Nightfire into the
Emphasis
mix.
on fake war. This was just for content.
This was yes. But like let's just say Jared's superior weaponization of Nightfire has brought me to the bargaining table.
So I won. So there you go.
Yes, you have won.
I
sir.
told you, don't go to war with me.
So here is my terms. I will declare Super Wonder the superior ship as long as you do not degrade Nightfire anymore.
Okay, I don't care. I was just doing that for content, so it's no issue for me. And Keely, you are rapidly approaching. I may go to war with you next.
Oh, he has.
You do not want to play with me.
Well, that's just prime.
All right, so let's bring the other big co-host here. All right, actually, I can't find it here right now, so let's bring our other friendly guy.
People keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Well, howdy.
Hello,
Thanks for having me back on again.
Yep, thank you, buddy. And because I can't find his intro and I'm
I'm gonna
stupid,
put some dirt in your eye.
Oh yeah.
what up, Chris? And Zeke, you don't want to know.
Do not want to know, dude.
Nope.
Yes, there are some things.
It's something very stupid. Let me put it to that.
And let's introduce the last member of the DK crew. Ugh.
I don't care.
Speaking of ships,
Hey, Nix, how you doing?
Pretty good.
That's pretty awesome. How is everybody doing? So, yeah, like we'll kind of get the introductions out of the way. Then we got some like news to talk about and whatnot. Yeah, we got some housekeeping we got to do before we can kind of launch into the topics. How's everyone doing?
pretty good. Pretty good.
Well, not too bad. Keeping busy, as always.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Sorry, go ahead, Nix.
nothing. I was just gonna say I've been child-free for the last week.
Well, that sounds blissful.
I will say, Nick, I've been regaling myself of some interesting reading material.
Oh, really? Why don't you show them?
Oh, yeah. So this showed up in my mailbox.
Hell yeah.
Ooh, purdy.
Blood and Steel.
So what
Yeah.
makes it both blood and steely?
Well, the fact that the comic's in black and white, but every time there would be red, it's like actually bright red.
Ooh, Keely agrees. So yeah,
Yeah, the best example is here with the redhead girl right there.
oh yeah. Go to the page with the fireball. Show them that one.
There's that
Oh,
one.
that works. Doesn't that just look amazing?
And then wait, yeah, fireball. Look at that fireball.
Oh my god.
Dude.
Yeah, that's just looking clean right there.
Oh, speaking of Street Fighter references, there's going to be a lot in the issue 4 of Turn Samurai. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah,
Nice.
so I got this. I
Shoryuken!
got yet another copy of issues 1 and 2, and a bunch of trading cards that now are in a binder alongside my EVS trading cards.
Ooh, I'm happy to be. So yes, so as of now, issue 3 of Turn Samurai, that's in the bin. It's all done with. Everyone's got their stuff. If you didn't get your stuff, please message me. I will be happy to make it right. But the other kind of bit of thing is, so if you follow my channel, you notice that like the last episode of the Super Split Screen Brothers was labeled as the last episode, and I touched upon it in the video, but I kind of wanted to expand upon it here. And Jared, chime in when you feel appropriate. So the Super Split Screen Brothers started off as a video game podcast, and then we kind of expanded that to just general nerdiness because of stuff to talk about. The problem is, then we started the Friday Night Frenzy, and slowly but surely, like they kind of started to cannibalize each other. And like I was talking to Jared, we're talking about topics, and like I kept mentioning, oh, that sounds more like a Friday Night Frenzy topic. And Jared brought up what's the difference between the two, and that kind of just got the gears turning. And so I kind of looked at the stats, and
because the thing is that if these were going to continue being two separate shows, you had to do something to separate both shows. And literally the only difference between this and Super Split Screen Brothers was that this is live. That's it. So we were like, plus, I'm sure as Nick is going to go up, statistically, this was doing the show we're doing right now perform better. So we're like, let's focus on the show that performs better by a very large margin. So Nick and I were like, let's focus on the show that performs the best and put all of our efforts there.
Like, I'm gonna pull up the back end right here. See, Super Screen Brothers, 5 views. 9 views, 15 views, which I am happy for the support, versus like Friday Night Frenzy. Last episode got 60 views, 34, 38, it like 119. Like, you guys seem to really enjoy Friday Night Frenzy a lot more than Super Swifting Brothers. So I made the call to cancel the show and put all the energy that we were putting into Friday Night Frenzy. Make Friday Night Frenzy a better show, like for example, like the what you playing and the what stuff. So basically, all that stuff is moving over to here, which you guys seem to enjoy more. So that's why I'm doing that. But I will say there will be something coming to replace the Wednesday slot. We're gonna kind of take a few weeks off, make sure it's right, but there will be something that's a little more focused. I don't want to really share any details, but there is something in the mix, so you don't have to worry about that.
I'll still be involved, so you can still see my very handsome, hairy ass face.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. So let's kind of transition from there into something a little, let's just say a little more fun. So I don't know if you guys saw this today, but let me just kind of, I should have gotten this ready beforehand.
The wonders of live.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Technical difficulty.
Yes. So, yeah. So this is my. Here is me on Global Comics, and Screecher is now available on Global Comics. You can read the first 10 pages for free.
Nice.
And
Awesome.
I just want to say thank you for everyone. Literally dropped today, and it already has 132 views. Yeah,
that's already starting to kick some tail there.
Yeah, and then just kind of show the back end. Like Turns Out issue 1, it's got some good stuff.
I will say, as someone who is an avid reader of 2100 Samurai, that series is and Screecher. Yeah, those numbers are well deserving.
And speaking of Global Comics, I have an announcement to make for next week's stream.
Ooh.
So, speaking of Global Comics, next week on the Friday Night Frenzy, we will have the head of Global Comics, none other than Chris himself, will be on this show, and we'll be interviewing him live, talking to him about Global Comics and just the comic book industry and digital. So, like, the very person who owns this site will be on this stream next week.
Yeah.
That's
Also,
going to be awesome.
This is a great don't. Oh
Also,
my
that's gonna be
gosh!
rad.
Screecher Knights! There you go!
oh dear God.
I would pay. I should make an edit of like find someone who looks like Screecher and then make an edit that's like Screecher Knights. It's a trailer.
Well, it's not like he can turn Screecher into a woman.
oh yeah.
But she is a ginger.
No, but wait. In my trailer, Nick, I'll gender bend Screecher into a dude. No, the joke is this is what CW would do. They always gender bend characters, so I'll do the opposite.
Would you do me? Undo me so hard.
Garrett, just please stop. But speaking of trailers / teasers, I got another thing to show you guys.
I'm sorry, I'm over.
Sorry, I'm dropping all the news today. I'm unloading on you guys. Take that as you will.
Oh boy,
Hey, Friday
Nick, I'm
news
pretty
show.
sure this is not an R-rated show.
No, it's not. So, all right. So this is a Friday Night Friends exclusive. That, my friends, was
That's awesome.
the world premiere of Screecher #2, Friendly Fire, the first teaser.
Nick, I have to ask this one thing because I'm sure this is what everyone's wondering. At one point, does she tell someone that they have failed this city?
Read and find out.
That answers that question.
Right?
So, here's the stuff you need to know. So, by the way, that trailer just went live on my YouTube channel. So I literally just put it to public. So if you want to go watch that trailer, you can go do so now. Let me kind of go back. Yep, just use that link. It's in the comments above there. And then, so this will be on Kickstarter in October. The pre-launch page goes live next Friday. So I'll be launching that is beautiful. Hey, Venkman.
Hey.
So the pre-launch page will be going live next Friday, along with a second teaser trailer. I'm gonna switch out the music so it doesn't trigger copyright as much. And there you can sign it to be notified and whatnot. We're planning for the first or second week of October. We haven't really finalized the date yet, but yeah, the book is coming along great. Pencils are done. We're in the inking stage. We got Jared.
Oh, he's rapidly approaching that. Let me put it this way.
Yeah, so I know I've kind of been shotgun firing a bunch of stuff at you, but I've been holding on to a lot of this stuff for a while, and I want to just kind of tell you. So before we go on the main topic, there is one bit of news that now we can kind of all discuss this. So how many of you guys have heard about the Switch 2 rumors?
Oh, I've heard about it. I've been keeping my ear on it. Honestly, I'm really excited as to see what they're actually going to do with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've heard some rumors.
Yeah, I have too. I'm if I were to speculate, and you guys can add on your own kind of tell me what you think. Here's what I think. It's gonna be a hybrid handheld. I think Nintendo really struck gold with that because the fact that like their games are portable, it really helps. Like yeah, you can play Witcher 3, and it's like a lesser experience, but it's portable, you know. And I think that really helps excuse a lot of the failings. Like yeah, it's Witcher 3, and it's like less than minimum quality settings, but it plays well and it's portable, and that's a lot of the games gives you kind of a window of an excuse. And because Nintendo really can't compete if they were a console only.
Well, not only that, but especially now with consoles essentially trying to compete with PCs, which that's never going to end up well.
Nope.
Especially now that we're starting to enter a phase where PCs are competing with consoles. Like the PC handheld is what?
The moment you put consoles in the same competition as PCs, you destroy the industry.
Yeah.
Creative stagnations. Yeah, gaming, like they set it up for failure. When this bubble bursts, it's going to be bad.
What, like, okay, what do you mean? Explain, please.
So the AAA industry is all about multi-platforms and, you know, get everything into your gated garden and games as a service and all that stuff. Well, PC gamers who, especially from like 20 years ago, aren't used to that crap. I mean, I'm sure like Epic is loving the you know, the money, the counting the dollars or whatever with their freaking battle royale stuff. But that's not PC gaming. That's console gaming on a PC. Yeah. And unfortunately, all of that stuff has locked free creative content or community created content like mods. It's locked it out inside of their own little gated garden. And we have seen creative stagnation now for going on a decade. And when it's getting worse and getting worse, it's like the deficit, you know, you can put it off, you can put it off, you can put it off. But all these games now are so risk averse and are so like saddled with 20-plus-year-old game designs. There's no, like, game designers don't exist in AAA game development anymore. They didn't when I left 10 years ago. All you have in it are economists and people who say, why don't we make our game like this? It's like, well, then that's not actually designing a game. You're literally just taking some other design. I mean, the last new genre we had required plastic instruments. And that was like almost 15 years ago.
I mean, why do you think? And this is not just a AAA thing. It's also really impacted the indie space as well. Yep. It's like why do we need? I was literally that's exactly what I was leading to. Like why does I love the Metroidvanias. I it's one of my favorite genres. But why does every indie game need to be a Metroidvania? Like, dear God, or like, oh, we're a roguelike.
Yeah, well, it's like every game developer that I knew from over a decade ago when I was in the industry, they cut their teeth on level editors and mods of existing games. In fact, Valve's Source engine, you know, the Hammer, I think it was called Hammer at the time, but they renamed it the Source, was basically like a level editor. And as a game designer, when you were an applicant, it was like, okay, make me a Team Fortress 2 level.
Did you know? It up till like the early 2010s, if you wanted to apply for a job at BioWare, you actually had to submit levels created on Neverwinter Nights, because like the Aurora engine. Yeah, that was actually part of your job application.
Yeah. I mean, there were plenty. Like I've applied, you know, hundreds of studios, and it's always been like, you know, design a level in X, you know, whatever. And now, because mods don't really exist anymore, because everything is a service and everything is wrapped behind that gated garden, like you don't like sure, there's a lot of awesome free highly accessible SDKs like the Unreal Engine and Unity and stuff, but that investment is requiring somebody to build an entire game from the ground up, whereas before it was literally work with the tools you are given, which is the majority of the use case within game development. It's your engineers are providing you with with code or with assets. Your artists are giving you assets, and it's up to you to put the Legos together in a pleasing manner. And that doesn't exist anymore. They're literally copying 20-year-old games, and they're like, yeah, now we're going to throw in our agenda stuff. Now we're going to throw in our anti-consumer stuff. And when you took away that free R&D. That's what mods was free research and development. You literally had communities wasting money, wasting time, creating absolute failures so that AAA studios who were, backed by investors or whatever wouldn't have to do it. They're like, look at those chumps. They did it for us. They wasted all that time and money. We now know what not to do. And we don't have that anymore. Now we have people that are these industries that are so terrified of they're like, well, we just got to make another bland space shooter or another Metroidvania or another battle royale.
The risk it brings, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, that's why we're seeing things like Halo Infinite failing. Because what exactly did that offer that I wasn't getting from the previous Halo games?
Eric, this is where you jump in.
A new story, but here's the problem with Halo Infinite. They tried too many new things like the free-to-play service, because that wasn't really, like, as far as I know, that wasn't really a part of the franchise. They kind of started it in Halo 5, but it really became an issue in Halo Infinite. But here's the thing about that. That could have been successful if they had come prepared with like lots of content to then release. The problem with Halo Infinite, particularly on the multiplayer side, because the campaign side was great. With the multiplayer side, they showed up with barely any content. So you ended up with like going 6 months to a year promising new maps, new content, and all that stuff. And we're like, what are you talking about? You should have the stuff already.
Well, imagine now if this was a game that you could mod, and instead of waiting a year plus for content you have to buy, you could just, hey, you're about to launch a map or something you don't have. Download it here. And it downloads onto your service, onto your system. And now you're playing a Halo match, which is a giant GameStop. You're inside of a giant GameStop store. Or you're playing in a classic Twilight Princess level or Ocarina of Time level. That's
look at
was.
look at all the stuff for Gmod. Like one of the most famous Gmod maps is literally a 7-Eleven.
Yeah. That's what you see. They've set themselves up to fail because, like what you're saying about, they got this system in place, but they don't have the content. That's because you're looking at bean counters, setting up a business model, and they don't understand that content is difficult and expensive to make. But when you have unlimited resources, i.e. your community, you could get some of the... Dude, I remember Quake 3, where the first model I ever made was a stupid hamburger helper glove that when he killed people, he goes, makes a great meal. But like there was Lobo. Somebody did this amazing, like this thing looked professional. You'd be like, bite me, fanboy.
If you want to talk about content creation, Chris, did you ever mess with Second Life?
I think I had installed it once because we were doing some research on.
I played it hardcore for about a year in 2014, and I've kind of like ducked back in ever since. It is insane what some people have done. Like people have made like Power Ranger costumes. Like people have like recreated like entire areas. It is insane.
Oh, Dwight Schrute was still the assistant regional manager in his Second Life.
Yeah, but essentially what I was getting at with consoles now essentially trying to compete with computers, Nintendo has had a pretty strong record at this point where they're not really competing with others in terms of hardware. They're just sort of trying to make things fun and make things still accessible. And there have been no stronger markets for them than the handheld hybrid market. Yep. So I'm pretty sure we're just going to see a stronger iteration of the Switch with possibly, stronger graphical fidelity and that sort of thing, because their whole bread and butter has been handheld, especially now since, because that's where the competition is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so some rumors, and you got to take this with a really big boulder of salt, because I haven't spoken to the people that work there for a long time. One of the rumors that they were discussing was they are building upon the hybrid home handheld system, and they've learned a lot of lessons from the Wii U and from the Switch.
And the Wii.
Yeah, well, the Wii. I mean, that was their moneymaker. But here's the thing about the Wii. And you also need to factor in the DS, because the DS was really the thing that was printing them money. The Wii sold like hotcakes.
but like after like the games didn't sell that much.
Yeah,
Like the
it's
Switch
for
hit
non-gamers.
both bases. Yeah, the Switch hit both bases. Like the console is selling like hotcakes, and the games are selling like amazing.
The problem though with the Nintendo ecosystem and some of the lessons that they've learned with the Wii U and the Switch was the Switch came with a lot of closed doors, essentially. Like they basically walked into a closet and closed the door behind them.
Like if you look at like going from the 3DS to the Switch, it is insane how much of a step down the user interface on the 3DS is amazing. And I will, like themes, just like the folder, like they barely given us folders. The fact there's really no themes for the Switch is just a crime.
Unless you hack it, which I did. But the problem though, like a lot of that was because they built because again, Nintendo is the only here's a weird industry insider thing. Nintendo is the only game publisher, / console manufacturer that has ever sold a console not at a loss. So every time a Sony PlayStation 5 comes out, Sony loses money. That's why all these scalpers was a huge blow to them. Same thing with Xbox.
Yeah.
Like you want to know how bad
games.
Like Chris, I'm about to quote a fact that you know, but like you want to know how bad like the price cutting got. So remember how we all balked at like the PS3, and Chris knows exactly where I'm going with this. How we balked at the PS3 costing $600. Like Chris, do you remember how much the PS3 cost to build at that time?
It was like over $1,000, wasn't it? It was like
$900. They were doing a $300 price cut just to sell it to you for $600.
Stupid cell architecture, man. That thing screwed them. That and the Blu-ray drive. But
absolutely.
That was hell.
Well, the thing with the Blu-ray drive, they were trying to repeat the success of the PS2 because
because
the PS2. Its early sales were because it was a cheap DVD player.
They were actually trying to. The reason why they rushed and put a shitty 1X BD-ROM drive in their PS3 was because they were trying to directly compete against HD DVD, which Microsoft had adopted, and
tentatively.
Yeah, it was blue versus red. And here's the kicker: this is the first time I've ever seen this. So there's only two things that advance technology: war and porn. And the porn industry actually embraced HD DVD. This is the first time in history where porn lost.
Well, the other factor is Disney as well. It's war, porn, and Disney, especially in format wars.
That's quite a combination.
Yeah, really.
Someone clip that.
Yeah. Okay. That was.
You're down with WPD.
That's awesome.
Next, when I do my compilation of top 10 Phoenix Press moments, that's gonna be one of them.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, dear God, Nick, you're basically quoting Mickey Never Returned Home.
So many jokes, a little time.
But one thing.
No. I actually didn't complete my thing here. So Disney has been a force in deciding the factor format wars. If you really go back to even VHS versus Betamax, obviously porn chose VHS, but so did Disney. And I think Disney also because remember there was actually a format war for DVD. It was DivX versus DVD, and Disney chose DVD. And the same thing happened with Blu-ray because Disney threw their lot in with Blu-ray, and I think that was a big factor at that time in choosing the format war. The other thing is, I just don't like. Chris, which one do you think was objectively the superior format, Blu-ray, HD DVD? I think Blu-ray was, but that's my opinion.
The reason why I liked HD DVD is because essentially it was a DVD player. There wasn't really anything special. It was just a higher density DVD disc. You didn't need to buy new hardware for it. So that was kind of a plus for HD DVD. But I can't argue because I love high 4K Blu-rays, which I don't know if because we're already making an HD DVD like higher density. I don't know if you would have to like basically like try to shove a hockey puck into your DVD player to try to play something like that.
What they would do is they would do laser DVD. Like they basically make DVDs the size of laser discs.
Yeah.
Like you want to feel old? Like bring out show a laser disc to someone. Oh my god, that'll put hairs like gray hairs on your head so fast. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Question here. So who here knows what a laser disc is?
I do
Yeah,
actually.
I had
I'm
a
too
couple
young.
It's a giant LP sized DVD.
Yeah, let me. I'm sorry. I gotta like. I'm gonna look up a picture. Jared, can you look up a picture of a laser disc and share it with people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
After that, I want to get back to what I heard, or I guess about the Switch.
But yeah, like there's all these like crazy formats. Like, you know, there is an HD like tape format that was actually pretty decent for the time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, like CED. Like, have you guys ever seen those? All right, guys. That is a laser disc.
That's a
Yeah, and
record.
you have to remember
Jeez.
that those are basically the size roughly of a vinyl record.
Yep,
Those
yeah.
are not
It's an LP.
small.
Yeah.
I had a coworker that worked on, I think it was either at Toshiba or JVC, one of those companies that made the players. And in the early days, they actually had, like, what we're seeing here is the more modern tray, but older systems actually had a sleeve. And before that, they had the slot feed where you basically just
the
slide
sleeve ones. That's CED. That's an entirely different format.
Yeah, well, they were originally using that same thing to secure the media into the device.
Yeah,
because,
the caddy.
Yeah, because they couldn't dictate like they didn't have the servos or whatever. They were cutting costs. But I had a former engineer coworker, funny guy. He was working on one of these players, and it was a slot fed one.
Jared,
And
can you highlight the picture of like the person holding the laser disc? Kind of that's for scale.
Yeah, they're actually bigger, or that guy's huge. But yeah, so he basically, they were writing code for the insert the DVD, play it. Oh, I'm sorry, the laser disc and play it and all that, because it didn't have menus the way that DVDs had. So this was literally, you popped it in and it played. Well,
Also,
they forgot.
Keep talking. I'll be right back. I got another formula I'm going to show off, guys. But keep talking.
Yeah. So while they were writing the code, they had forgot to stop the spinning during the ejection. So it was like a line segment or something, or the code broke or whatever. And the guy was telling me, he's like, I felt like I was Neo in the Matrix. It basically shot this thing out, like that scene in Hellraiser with the weird whatever that was, the Cenobite that had the CD-ROM launcher. But it launched across the room, and he said there was nothing left of the laser disc when it impacted on the wall behind them. He's like, we were picking out shards of laser disc out of our hair and everything for days.
Hey, guys, you want to see like a really crazy format that like you guys have never heard of?
UMD?
Well, everyone knows UMD.
Hieroglyphics?
Who has heard of VCD?
Oh yeah! Now we're getting.
Wow, yeah.
Also,
that's right, Nick. Demonstrate your vast age.
Oh no!
To be fair, VCDs are actually still relevant in some Asian countries.
Yeah.
Are we in an Asian country?
Meow, mom.
And yes, I have a Kamen Rider movie on VCD.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Yeah,
well,
we are nerds.
Well, see, here's the thing. If they had the Snyder cut on VCD, I would buy that.
Actually, they probably do.
Just because we're not living in an Asian country doesn't mean that, that still doesn't have some level of weight. A lot of us are still, like otakus.
Jared,
and some of us are Asian too, by the way.
So yeah, Chris, you probably know, VCD, I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, I'm gonna look it up right now.
What are they, 640 megabytes, or is it like 700 megabytes max? I know you're not going to get like HD or anything out of them, but back in the day, dude, that was like pre-DVD, and I was like, holy crap. Oh man, you don't even need to fast forward. You could just scrub it.
Yeah, basically, I think VCDs are about VHS quality. Laser discs, are like a little better than VHS, but not quite as good as DVD. Because remember, Laserdisc is still technically an analog format.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
DVD is digital format.
Yep.
With that,
Dude,
like,
that's why it was such a crime, man, when Lucas decided to release Star Wars on DVD, and they all had that garbage, updated, terrible CGI crap, and people were like, "We got to demake them," and they actually tried to harvest the movie like a demade version out of the laser discs.
By the way, the funniest thing, and this became an inside joke with my friends, with the remaster of Star Wars, they had a scene where Greedo goes McClunky. So there would be so this became an inside joke that when like we would say goodbye to each other, we'd be like McClunky. It's just the funny part about that one edit is that he starts with the whole speech. It gets to where it ordinarily like goes to Han shooting, but then just stops, focus on Guido, and then Guido goes McClunky like it's some battle cry. I'm like, I would love if Han goes, what does that even mean? Boom.
Well, remember when Wicket called Leia a chocha? We were like, wait, whoa, she just offered you food. And man, that's rude.
You kiss your mother with that mouth?
Yeah.
That is insanely racist.
Yeah. It's like,
I should take a bar of soap.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, this is a Christian Minecraft server, Lucas.
Hey, Jared, check this out.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
By speaking of Superman movies, I finally watched
Jared, look, you can watch us.
Wow.
By the way, the cool thing about VCD is a lot of the consoles from the 90s, like I know the Saturn and the Dreamcast can play VCDs.
Hell yeah.
So like, just look at this, Jared. Like, Superman Returns on VCD.
So it's
Turkish stuff.
Speaking of Superman movies, so I just watched yesterday for the first time the Death of Superman Lives, the documentary.
Oh,
I kind of want to see this movie. Isn't that weird?
Was it Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, I kind of want to see this. Actually, see this movie. Oh my god,
Jared!
Nick!
Wow!
I swear, plug in Zack Snyder's Justice League. See if it exists.
Like they have Man. You can get Man of Steel
Nick,
on VCD.
Plug in the search bar Zack Snyder's Justice League.
All right. Yeah, so my keyboard's a little bit messed up, so I can't Watchmen?
That doesn't exist. Man, but okay, but that is funny.
But you can get Watchmen and you can get Man of Steel on VCD.
That's sweet.
By the way, Jared, I may or may not get you this as a gag gift at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you look at the title, it is dubbed in
Turkish.
Turkic. So
Yeah.
I don't care. It'll be hilarious.
Right?
But come on, Jared, this would be a good part of your collection.
That'll be hilarious to have every version of every Zack Snyder movie conceivable.
So you can have Watchmen and Man of Steel. I know, oh, wrong Avengers. But yeah, it's they're releasing VCDs really far into it. Iron Man
X-Men.
2, Spider-Man, X-Men Origins Wolverine, Iron Man 3.
X-Men Origins Wolverine. Why is that like? Why does that movie get that honor?
This is just crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, look.
Oh, Daredevil.
Nice.
Oh, there we go. Found it.
What? What'd you want to
Go
find?
Avengers.
Oh, there you go. Oh,
Yep.
The Ang Lee Hulk movie where they have all the comic book panels and the scenes that no one wants to see comic book panels.
Yeah.
That was the problem with that movie. I get what he was going for, but the panels need to be more in the fight scenes and less in them just walking and talking.
Yeah, I think that was corporate meddling that did that. I don't think Ang Lee intended that originally.
Yeah.
So you're telling me
most bad decisions come from corporate meddling.
Yep.
Hence,
Well,
Justice League.
Well, sometimes sometimes the bad decisions come from the showrunners themselves. Witcher.
Oh,
Yeah.
no,
that's
but you see,
true.
Nick, they have to dumb down the content for us Americans.
You know what?
Yeah,
That is a perfect segue into our main topic.
Okay,
So-
there you go.
All right, so we have all the like this really bad media, and we all agree it's bad. Why the frick do we keep watching it? Like I remember like a very sobering moment. Like, so you know how like feminist frequency is shutting down, we're all rejoicing, well and good. But like I remember from back in the day, when she was still doing her series, it was delayed to heck, but like an episode would come out and all of her haters would do like a live stream where like they'd pile into a call and they'd live stream them reacting to the video. I mean, all right, I gotta say this.
Stupid.
Bitch, you're not a hater. You're a fan.
Well, it's a parasitic market. I mean, basically, those channels are thriving off of drama, so that's why they like. It's kind of like the SPLC. It's in their best interest to always have poverty in the South. It's the same thing with these channels that like flock to the hate. It's in their best interest for this garbage.
And
so
this
they
is
can
not a
make more
problem. And,
content.
the real thing is, this is not just a problem with the left. It's a problem with the right as well.
Yep, exactly.
I guarantee you, like we follow people who do this. I'm just as guilty of it.
Because
Oh, absolutely.
here's the thing. I remember back in the day, your boy Zach did videos where he would buy all these really stupid comics and then
Still
burn
bought 'em.
them. And I'm like, hey, listen, I like seeing you burn crappy comics. Don't get me wrong, but you still gave them money.
Yeah,
That's
still
what
feeding the
counts.
machine.
Yeah.
Okay, who here has seen the NWA movie? Like what was it?
Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah, Straight Outta Compton. Really great movie. But there's this one scene, I think Chris knows where I'm going with this, where they roll past the people burning their albums. And Eazy-E was like, hey, I don't care. They still bought them.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, that's the thing.
Their
You're still
money.
feeding the machine. A hate watch is still a watch.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I didn't want
exactly.
Roma.
That's why it's kind of become a rallying cry, even if people ignore it. Of no hate watching.
Yeah. Well,
Stop
there was a
hate watching.
there was a quote that Razor Fist used in one of his videos, and my God, it's so perfect. He's like, the opposite
love
of
that
love
man.
isn't hate. Yeah, he said the
It's
opposite
apathy.
of love. Yeah. Thanks.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I kind of stole your love and thunder there.
But it's like, but with me, this was something that I went through when I was reading, when I started reading comic books again. And one of the things I did, I put out a video on this. I swore off newer comics because it wasn't at the quality. Now, gradually, I went back, and then I'm much more selective of like newer stuff because of the quality drop off. But if you look at my collection behind me, actually, I'll put on my camera real quick. Most of this is back issues and older stuff because that's where the quality is. And I'm like,
Wait,
that's the part
Jared,
that I like.
how can that be? Because no media exists before 2015.
I know, isn't it kind of fun? A lot of this is like a lot of LGBTQ characters, a lot of women, a lot of black characters that have existed since the 60s.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and
No, you see, they told us that nothing like that existed before that was all like the Dark Ages. Nothing
the
like
year
that.
of our Lord 2016 was the year that all media sprang forth.
I mean, we
Yeah.
all know Jennifer Lawrence was the first female action
I
star.
love that.
Oh, yeah,
I
totally.
love that.
like Sigourney Weaver literally owes her career because without Jennifer Lawrence playing Katniss Everdeen in The Hunger Games in 2013, Sigourney Weaver would not have been able to play Ellen Ripley in 1979's Aliens. Like
Nick,
it,
when
like,
that-
like it is. We are like Sigourney Weaver owes her career to she would not have like 1979's Alien would not have existed if Jennifer Lawrence had not first played Katniss Everdeen in 2013.
Nick, when she said that, I cringed in Ellen Ripley. That's how I cringed. I was like, wait a second here.
Oh, speaking of like the fangirl stuff, like, do you want to like? Honestly, the first fans, a lot of them were women. Like, if you look back at the history of the Star Trek fandom, like
Yeah.
a lot, like the first fan fiction was Star Trek fan fiction. Like, and how the Mary Sue term was coined out of Star Trek fan fiction. Like a lot, like if you look at like old media, like if you look at like the premieres of like Star Wars movies, there's a lot of women there, and it's not just them going with their boyfriends. They're enthusiastic. Like you,
Hell,
like,
when
you'll
I
see
went,
sorry,
so
go ahead, Jared.
a couple of months ago, I went to what was essentially this concert where they played the Matt Reeves Batman movie, and that they had a live orchestra for all the music. It was badass. But so what happens is that randomly 2 girls lean over to me, and this was a part of when I was like, "Thank you," but they lean over to me, and then they start asking me who I think like the main villain is, who I think where I think they could take this plot line. And I'm like, okay. In other words, here's the thing. There are way more geek girls than people give them credit for.
Well,
like
way
more.
Okay, wait.
Oh yeah,
Jared,
definitely.
wait. Jared is a Giga Chad confirmed.
Yeah. So wait a second. So a Batman brought girls.
Well,
Wait,
no,
wait,
the problem
wait,
is
Jared, are you saying that girls talk to you?
I know you wouldn't know what that's like, so I didn't want to. What?
No, the problem is with science fiction and with these medium or media and spaces or fandoms, is that stuff for boys is universal. Stuff for girls only attracts girls, and that's why feminist or feminized comics and all this stuff and anime is losing so much traction. Because sure, you're retaining a lot of female, audience or whatever, but you are losing the dudes.
Oh, absolutely.
This is the thing that a lot of like the feminists don't understand. Women like sexy things just as much as the men do. Like, like women like sexy women just as much as men do. And even if you have like a buff shirtless dude, like most guys like whatever, hey, cool bod. Like meanwhile the girls are drooling and like they don't care. Like that's the problem. Is even when you
the
have
guys
like
are cool bod, or they're like, I need to go to the gym to look like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, the Henry Cavill effect. It's guys like him because they want to be like that. It's like, dude, what's your exercise routine? What are you doing for weights? What's your diet? Where girls are like, wow, that dude's hot.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
It's like, I guarantee you, part of the reason why Aquaman made $1 billion because Jason Momoa spends a significant amount of time without his shirt on.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you,
one
Jared.
scene made the movie.
I think you're kind of quoting me there, Jared. Like I think I once said like Jason Momoa, like Aquaman made $1 million off of Jason Momoa's abs alone.
Yeah, I heard that also from like Clownfish TV as well. But yeah, I do remember that. Don't change the.
See, and this is an actual woman right here telling us.
And here's the thing. Here's part of why I think this happened.
Oh yes.
Yes. Here's why I think that this happened post 2016 specifically, because something happened in 2016. I'm alluding to it. I'm not going to get explicit. that was very offensive to these people, and they figured they had to figure out some ways to influence people so it didn't happen again. So they started going after the pop culture.
Well, no, it was happening before. Like, I think that event.
Mm-hmm.
There was also another one that ended in Gate, and it wasn't comics. That started before that. Like,
what a weird game we've played.
well, people are getting a lot of fans, and it's exactly like what Peter Venkman fan site's saying. You know, there are a lot of fans that are women who are like, don't tell me what I should like because of being a woman or whatever.
Isn't that like literally like the whole entire point of like classic feminism? It's like what you like.
Well, that's just freedom in general. I mean, that's capitalism. The only color that matters in capitalism is green. You know, and we're watched all of our hobbies hijacked by this ideological, like, they just got hijacked by these activists essentially who are preaching to you. And unless you're a religious person and you're going to something on Sundays, you know, the sermons really aren't what you want to pay for your entertainment, you know?
Also, shout out to the Warhammer fandom. They are holding a line.
Oh my gosh. There was a thing on Twitter that I saw. I wasn't like involved in this conversation, but someone was talking about why aren't there female space marines? And
also, this is for Venkman fangirl.
Thank you.
This is for you, Venkman.
That's for me too, because it's Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Hell yeah. But anyway, so what's funny is that this person was like being buried because people are like, first off, you have the Sisters of Battle, and second off, There is a literal reason in the lore why the Space Marines themselves are males.
You don't. Well, it's
Yeah.
like you don't like. That's the thing. It's like they talk about space. And it's like why not just as a battle? Like, don't you like non?
But here's the thing:
Yeah,
that's why
if
they
you
go for
want
Space
the
Marines.
closest, if you want the closest thing that you're ever going to get in the Warhammer fandom to female Space Marines, you might as well go with the Adeptus Sororitas.
Yeah, exactly. The thing about it, and the reason why I think that they want to go for Space Marines, because when you think about of all the races in Warhammer, the Space Marines are the faces of Warhammer.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, they want to be the faces of
They
Warhammer.
want to conquer it. Like they plant their
Yeah,
flag
exactly.
in there.
Yeah,
And
well,
they destroy it.
that's the whole thing about the woke ideology is it's not just an ideology; it's a conquering force.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
They're not here to be like, hey, I want to be part of this. Women have been part of geek fan clubs for decades, if not longer.
Yeah,
the
like,
whole
look
thing
at
is we want to dominate this, and we want you to believe what we believe. That's all it is.
It's like even when Kathleen Kennedy took over Star Wars, and when they were trying to push Rey, they were like, finally, women can see themselves in Star Wars, and I'm like, Princess Leia, anyone?
What about Mara
Princess
Jade?
Amidala.
Yeah.
Or Amidala, yeah, or Mara Jade. Here's the thing: these people are intellectually lazy, too lazy to do the work themselves.
Like, do you realize how far back some of this stuff goes? Like, look at this. Like, this is early cosplay. Like, look at this. Like, people were doing this in the 30s, and look at that. Like, seriously. This
Oh
is
my god.
And I got news for you: women
this stuff.
were. If you look at the origin of Wonder Woman, which again I highly recommend anyone watch that Professor Marston movie. Women were heavily involved with the formation of Wonder Woman. I know. Look at that.
Yeah, just this is stuff from the 40s and 50s. Like seriously, like this is risque even today.
Yeah,
but it's not even like. Here's the thing: is like you'll see it in a lot of modern cosplay stuff.
Okay,
like,
this
if you
is
go to
actually pretty
Comic-Con,
good. Shout out to this woman right here. This is really good.
Yeah, if you go to Comic-Con, most of the cosplayers are not playing the modern revised versions of characters.
They're usually going back to the old costumes that they themselves liked.
Yeah, and here's the thing: is when you see like a blackwashed quote unquote character, it's because the cosplayer is not white. It's not because the character has changed. It's just you have a really attractive woman or a really attractive dude who just happens to not be the same ethnicity as the character, and they pull it off with their cosplay. That's all it is. They're not.
Yeah, and
I've seen some very attractive Black Zelda cosplays. Shout out to the women who do that. You guys knock it out of the park.
It's like I have seen some really attractive women, like Black women, do Starfire, and oh my god, yes.
The really stupid part is I've seen a bunch of cosplayers get in their heads that they want the comics to reflect their cosplay, so they actively campaign to gender and
narcissism
characters. Nick.
This is my album from Motor City Comic Con 2014. So
nice.
So just checking out, just showing you some of the cosplays on display here.
That's a cool
Balloon Ninja Turtle.
That's nice.
Jessica Rabbit. Yeah, it's like
a lot of stuff is very creative. And in fact, actually, I was watching an interview with Zack Snyder, and he said a lot of these cosplayers make higher quality stuff than the stuff we use in movies.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not wrong.
Also, I'm just going to say
Link.
this. Women make the best Link cosplays. I'm just saying that right now.
It's because Link isn't exactly the pinnacle of masculinity. I mean,
no.
Let's also, Jared.
Whoa.
Nice.
I mean,
physically,
he is Link is absolutely the peak of masculinity, but design-wise, he was definitely made to be androgynous.
Well, it was to appeal to
also
both
that's
genders.
William Shatner right there.
Sweet,
nice. Yeah, like if Link was like a traditionally proportioned male fantasy hero, like a Conan-esque barbarian or whatever,
he'd be Superman like Jack.
Shout out to Melanie Mack right here.
Hey, there you go.
You wouldn't get the same love from the female demographic as you got. Like studies have shown. Apparently women there were more women who liked Tom Hiddleston than liked Chris Hemsworth in Thor, and I was like, wait, what?
Well, that could also
That's
be because
funny
of the
because-
character
Oh,
arc
oh,
for
oh.
Loki.
Every-
I
every-
love Zatanna.
Now you got 2 Zatannas.
Zatanna, Black Canary, Wonder Woman, they have the best cosplayers.
I mean, funny thing about that is
Oh.
my
Next.
my aunt,
Mhm.
ever since like the first Avenger movie with like Thor, she just gushed. Not over Loki, surprisingly, like every other woman on the internet. It was always over Liam Hemsworth's Thor. Like not even like Liam
Yeah,
Hemsworth, just him as Thor.
That's what I was expecting, but when I was in the industry, all
look
the
at
girls
gender
loved
bend. Like this is
Yeah,
a great
Tom Baker. Yeah, and that's the thing is like when it's in cosplay, no, like people celebrate it. Nobody
Also, like,
cares.
Classic Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
Also,
female Scorpion.
also this lady was like really nice, like, and she made all this stuff herself. So
Did she tell you to get over there?
Come here.
also like this cosplayer right here, he was a really big jackass. So
Oh, no.
I just want to say frick him.
Nice,
He was-
Nick.
By the way, this is me, you know. So
Oh, I know that. I know that.
yeah, I was Shotaro from Kamen Rider Double. So
If this were my show, I'd be dropping the dweeb line.
he had a Pacific Rim T-shirt on. That's why I was posing with him. Oh, also
Nice.
Classic Macro.
Yeah, the other thing is, if you the thing that really bothers me about hate watching
Mhm.
is you know, I've had to come to realize, you know, later, you know, recently that life is very short. It is
Yep.
excessively short. So
Tell me about
why on earth would you bother wasting your preciously short lifespan on stuff that's just going to, you know, frustrate the hell out of you
Well,
when you've got so many other things that have either been made beforehand or are currently being made, maybe not by the people you want, but they're still being made, that you could better spend your money and your time on.
Dude,
you know,
it's rage bait. It's these channels do this. It's like I was saying with the SPLC and their vested interest in Southern poverty. Like if there was no more if there's no more poverty in the South, there would be no need for SPLC.
right.
And it's the same thing with these channels.
it's like what you had with the Vietnam War protests of like the 60s and the 70s. They didn't want the Vietnam War to end. They didn't want it to end.
Yeah, and it's the and here's the thing is like that's one of the I think it's like the 5 pillars to be successful on YouTube to get into like the big leagues. It like, you know, one of them is like be a super hot chick, but like one of them is to generate rage, like to generate controversy. And that's what they do. They constantly
These are a
find
little,
something
this
new to
is a
rage
little
on.
more recent. So,
That's a nice Catwoman. But
Yeah.
see, but the thing is, again, and this also goes back to a clip I use on my show a lot of Ben Affleck going, these are fictional characters. I feel like a lot of I get that people have a nostalgic attachment to these characters, but oftentimes they can take this to the upteenth level and do like what Shiro said, just perpetually go like, I'm gonna keep reading this even though it's gonna piss me off, and I'm like,
Well,
that
negativity.
doesn't
Also,
make sense.
I do want to say this. I actually do see a lot of Spider-Gwen cosplays at cons, and a lot of like some Silk, but like see a lot of Spider-Gwen. Like you're like this is why, because Spider-Gwen is a lot more popular character than I think a lot of people realize.
Now she is. She was a
Yeah.
little more niche before the movie. Pokey Pool.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Dom Umaru.
like yes, I this is like the highlight of my con. I sold 2100 my comic turned samurai to an actual samurai.
Nice. That's my thing, because actually look at Spider-Verse, because here's what the Spider-Verse movie did. Miles was not a beloved character. Gwen was a niche character. She was liked, but she was more niche. As soon as that movie comes out,
a lot of jinxes I've been seeing.
yeah, as soon as that movie came out and showed these characters in a more positive light, a more fun light, and like made these characters relatable to everyone, they became icons.
Yeah,
Mm.
another arcane. Also, I didn't
Cash.
realize Caster the Gravedigger came to my con. That's a friend of mine. But yeah, like these cosplays are really nice.
They're really good.
Look at this WandaVision one. Like I like what she did there.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Hang on, I got one I want to show. Hang on, I got something I want to show. Hang on.
All right, let me just get done with this album, and then also our future right here. This is our future.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but
Oh, see, there's another Spider-Gwen at the con. I think another thing, like dye-sub suits have helped cosplay a lot, especially for like Spider-Man or Power Ranger like stuff. Makes it a lot easier to do these kind of cosplays.
Well, yeah, Spider-Gwen actually started as a costume too. The concept.
It was a variant cover. Look at this.
Ooh,
that looks really good.
Yeah, but I don't remember the exact specifics about this, but I do remember when they were doing the new Twilight Zone stuff. One of my friends.
Wait, you got to be a little more specific. You're talking 2002 or the recent one?
The black one.
The recent one.
The black one. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what it is. I mean, that's what they want.
Oh my god, I love that. I love
literally made.
I feel called out. I feel personally called out on that. That is not my family member.
I thought you
but
did
basically, he said, "Oh, this ruins everything for me. I never want to watch Twilight Zone again." Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, look, you don't have to watch the new stuff. There's decades and decades and decades of Twilight Zone from the 50s that is widely considered to be among the best.
Yeah, and it's like it's not just that, but like there's an 80s revival of Twilight Zone. The 2002 revival is actually pretty good. Like I defend that a little bit. Like that revival was pretty good. Like they actually updated some of the ones that were pretty good. I've never actually seen the 80s revival. I need to check it out. Yeah, I'm a Twilight Zone fan. I'm a huge Twilight Zone fan.
Yeah, but basically
also get in the cockpit, Shinji.
But my basic point is that if there's something that you don't like that people are doing nowadays, more often than not, you can probably do a little Google search, and there's something that existed either just like it or it's basically a remake of that existed in the past that is widely available that you can just grab and enjoy.
Yeah, like there's such a dearth of media out there. Like take gaming for instance. Also, Jared, check this out.
There you go. I love that Gotham Knights background.
They're like, if you're just talking emulation, I literally have so many games on my computer. That like I could literally buy another game ever again and still have way more games that I could ever play in the rest of my life.
Yeah, for me, like the games thing, I totally agree with, but like the movies and TV stuff, dude, that seriously depressed the hell out of me. Like when every one of my hobbies told me they no longer wanted me as a customer, it was a blow, dude. It freaking hurt, man. It was like,
hey Chris, I gotta pause you. If you guys know, you know.
Yeah, the gaff with the cup.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So honestly, the thing that's kind of was actually what sparked why I made my own indie comic stuff.
Also, I really wish John Douglas was here. He'd be happy.
An orc.
Yeah.
And a Zelda. But yeah, like it just the indies is basically where I'm going now because mainstream has told me they don't want me as a customer anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
And that kind of goes into, looking forward, because even if you don't want to dig into the dearth of media that has come about in the past, which is something that I personally like doing, there's plenty of stuff coming out nowadays, either through you guys or through some of my other groups of friends that are coming out that are plenty good in their own right, if not, the next Shakers of the world.
Also, the world. I bent the knee to Daenerys, just saying.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
found her dragons.
No, it just honestly like the big I think this Hollywood strike isn't going to end well for Hollywood.
Oh no, it is not going to end well for it at all.
My addendum is, it's not going to end the way you think. Sorry.
Yeah.
That
No,
was fair.
I
But
see
no,
the
no,
Blue
no.
Beetle is gonna bomb too, dude. Like the
Oh,
projections.
we already know that. Like, it's already buried. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
a,
well,
it's a
the
corpse.
reason a lot of the other Hollywood strikes in the past worked so well was because Hollywood still had the goodwill of
leverage.
yeah, they had leverage and they still had the goodwill of the fans.
Mhm.
But
Well,
with their
I'd
recent,
argue, like the writers had leverage, and the creators had leverage. Now they don't. Like, literally the studios. It's their incentive to make this go on as long as possible because the studios know that like once they get the writers to heal, literally all they have to do, like Marvel knows, Marvel freaking knows. All they have to do is announce, so Mary Jane and Peter are getting married in the next issue, and that will be a million seller. They know they have the glass to break. Like they know that like, oh, we can just do this, and everyone will come back in droves. So
yeah, but
Hollywood
here's
has
the thing you're
cards.
not accounting for is
one issue,
the
though.
goodwill of the fans. They've squandered it so heavily that yeah, sure, it might sell, but that's not going to bring back fans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll get the one issue, make a lot of money, and then nobody cares after that. It's like
Yeah,
what happened
exactly.
when Superman
It's
died.
like-
Yeah, exactly.
It's like yeah, that's why like outrage marketing or like going for clicks doesn't work because eventually
Exactly.
you're gonna run out of things to be pissed off about or hype up. Because yeah, 100% if they announced they were gonna be married, it would be like a high seller until the next issue when they reveal it was all a trick or something like that. Because trust me, I do not trust
No,
I
no,
do
no.
not
What
in
they
any way
do,
trust it.
no, what they do is that like Peter and MJ get married. You have a year or two where they're happily married, and all of a sudden, oh, MJ's pregnant. Oh, looks like they're having Mayday. Oh, looks like there's some time travel shenanigans. Oh, Mayday's 14 years old now, so you get to have all that stuff. Like that would bring people in.
Man,
To a certain
Yeah,
extent,
but
yes.
I mean, honestly,
Does anyone
okay.
actually
all right,
trust
wait,
Marvel
I gotta do
to
this.
do
Here's how I would do it. I would literally have Spider-Man rip off Dragon Ball Z, and like I would have a future Mayday Parker come back like Trunks style, and like and so you have like future Mayday Parker like stuck in the past. Like it's basically just the Trunks storyline, literally.
May's got a big sword.
Sure,
But
give her a sword. I don't
The
care.
She
Spider
one shot
sword.
Green Goblin.
But yeah,
she
the
hands Peter a senzu bean.
Well, like going back to the whole rage thing and how it's not sustainable. You know what sucks is about the rage for channels is that the moment there's no longer source material from Hollywood being fed to these channels about what to, what car accident do I want people to rubberneck to next? The problem is they'll start turning on each other and you see a whole bunch of infighting.
Like I've seen this myself on my channel, like, and this is kind of one of the reasons why I ended Super Split Screen Brothers. It's because like I've had videos get like 100, 200 views, but they're complaining about current issue, and I'm just not about that life, and I just didn't have it in me to cover some topics, and that's why
It's exhausting.
Yeah, it is.
Well, luckily for me, I with comic books, there are certain topics that are very evergreen to be pissed off about. Like when I put out the video talking about how useless Lois Lane is, and let me put it this way: that caused a lot of outrage. But also, interestingly enough, most people were like, "Thank God someone said it."
So what you're saying is, Jared started the fire.
Yes, I have to say this. I was interviewing a comic book artist, Joe Sontag, last night on the show, and I brought up like how I prefer Superman with Wonder Woman, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I could definitely see that. You see, I think DC should have killed Lois Lane a long time ago." He had an elaborate story thing. He was clear he doesn't have a problem with Lois Lane as a character. He just thinks story-wise would be better. But it was so great to hear him say on live, "Oh, I think that they should have killed Lois Lane a long time ago."
Oh dear God.
We're
but
seeing him more on my channel. So
yeah, I mean, basically, the whole thing is, it's kind of the effect that, rage marketing is really, really great in the short term because it brings in a lot of people because rage is a very strong emotion. but what a lot of people forget to account for is that it's also a very short emoji.
Yeah, yeah,
So
it's
if you
kind of
keep-
similar. That's kind of similar to stuff that I. By the way, these pictures are from 2019.
Squall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
But
back before this is like even pre Phoenix Press days, by the way. So like
Yeah.
I equate rage marketing to like a bright hot flame, and so like yeah, it's bright, it gets people's attention, but it's short lived, but it also leaves you damaged.
Well, here's the thing: is it's only as short lived as the energy you're willing to invest in it. I mean, there are studies that show like this is why the 24-hour news cycle is such a hellhole, and it's why it's destroyed our society. Is that studies have found that people do not respond to positive news stories. Nobody cares. It's like so and so gave birth to 8 puppies, and a miracle heart shape was on one of the puppies.
Zuzu.
Azula.
But if it was like evil man broke into house and killed 37 puppies at a puppy mill, suddenly everybody's reading and gasping.
Also,
and talking about it.
I was like, okay, funny story with this picture. I was like, I don't know if I take a picture. Like, you're literally Nightwing. Like, yeah, I actually fit in with this group cosplay. Sorry.
Yeah, but for me, it's definitely one of those things with news, but with video games, I like to call this particular thing the Konami effect. But if you start, pissing off your fans over and over and over and over again, they're going to keep coming back because they're angry at you because they want to see good stuff. But once they realize they're not going to get good stuff out of you because you've basically decided this is how I'm making the most money, so I'm just going to keep doing this.
And
then
there's also another problem.
And they're going to give up and they're going to leave, find something else.
Yeah, they're either going to give up or they're going to just get burnt out of the hating. Yeah, Jared, check this out.
Well, I've also noticed with newer, like the younger generation, like a lot of the crap that we're seeing, all the propaganda and all this stuff, isn't intended for us because, despite me being considerably older than you, yes, I'm the ancient one here. I'm sure you guys remember the good stuff too. So there's that transitional period of we went from the good stuff to the used to haves. Now everything's crap. Well, that's when we're dead and gone from old age. It won't matter, but future generations will only see the crap.
Yeah,
they'll accept it. It's the Overton window. They'll be conditioned to accept garbage.
It's I would say partially yes, but you also have the factor of parents showing their kids like the stuff that they're raised on, because I do feel like for example, like I was born in 87. Why the frick is Twilight Zone one of my favorite shows of all time? Well, because I was shown it as a kid, because my dad showed me a lot of old sci-fi.
But what about your grandparents? Like it's playing the long game.
I still regularly listen to music from the 60s. Mamas and the Papas is one of my favorite bands. Like they're a great band to just kind of have on. And I still watch I watch a lot of a lot of my musical taste is before 2000. I mean, that's they say it's like your music tastes freeze at high school, but like
yeah I don't know. It just I see them playing the long game, and I started noticing this because like we had this argument on another YouTube channel where there was this wrestling show called Heels, and a bunch of the guys were like, dude, this is woke trash, this is garbage. They like totally pushed feminist ideology into it, and there's no way a woman could do a one-armed pull-up. I mean, most women can't even do a normal pull-up unless they're built like a guy, and all this stuff. And the younger guy is like, no, it's, everything is woke now. You just kind of have to go with it. And it was like, that was the saddest thing I've ever heard. Because it's like, just accept it. Just accept it. It's like, no, like that's when you vote with your money and say, I'm done. And you move on. But everything is like that now.
I mean, I do see that to an extent, but also I do see a pushback because who's doing the beeping thing in the background? But like... The thing is, every generation comes up naturally rebels against a generation that came before. And what was the generation that Gen Z came up with? Millennials, the woke crap. See, for every time you see like a Gen Zer like being all woke, there's at least 2 or 3 that are base as hell. And like there's like that's why you're seeing like a lot of the pushback in schools. you know, like the whole like my pronouns are US and A. Like literally, there's like protests in schools where like kids are just going through the halls chanting USA, USA, and you got like the millennial teachers just cowering in their classes, all scared and shit.
I saw one, by the way. It was a meme that said, "My pronouns are get effed."
Yeah. So like, I just refuse to be all black-pilled about this. I mean, I want to be realistic, but like, I choose to have hope. And
well, there
things
is
do look bad, but I have hope.
So the mainstream has
Sorry.
So when I was when I was a kid, the alternate lifestyle stuff was pushed. So all the weird side, like all that stuff. Well, that became mainstream when my generation became the people who were in positions to make decisions, and that's where all the propaganda is pushing all the alternative lifestyle. And what we're seeing now is with a lot of the Zoomers and whatever is coming after the Zoomers, the new punk rock is the nuclear family. People are like,
that's hilarious.
Like
oh, hey, look, it's our favorite Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Jared, remember that video she made for you?
Yes, I do.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the idea that like, well, the generations before us were pretty stupid, you know, like clearly, like, you know how like, okay, boomer, like, you know, there's all that resentment towards the boomers. It's funny because they've bypassed us, the Gen Xer, where they're like, the Gen Xers clearly weren't the ones doing this. Like the boomers started
that's
this
the thing with Gen X is, I mean, Gen X was always abandoned, even from birth. Like,
yeah, we were the latchkey kids.
Yeah, Gen X was like, single family household, mom works all day. You have the older sister, older brother raising the kids. You know, that's Gen X. That's Gen X for you.
Yeah. It was, but that like you were saying though, the resistance to the mainstream, that counterculture, it is something to get hope from. But at the same time, we are seeing, because of all the digital format media and all this stuff, we are seeing revisionism in real time now. You know, this movie was offended by modern sensibilities. So, do you think that your grandkids will know what Song of the South is?
No. No, I
that's
don't.
almost it's impossible to obtain legally.
And then there's also the other thing of, and this is where I do get a little bit black-pilled. Statistically, Zoomers are less capable with technology. Like you thought, like when Netflix raised their prices and cracked down on sharing, it would result in lost subscribers. No, they got record stuff because for a lot of Zoomers, it's just easier to pay a few extra bucks than to torrent everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually heard that not too long ago, and you know, it's just one of those things where, you know, it's life. You get good and you get bad. You know, you can't go fully into one camp or the other. That's kind of why I hate the whole red pill, blue pill, black pill, white pill kind of thing, because life is a little bit of everything.
It's a cycle.
Oh, by the way, quick aside, Spider-Gwen cosplay as early as 2019. Just wanted to put that out there.
And the thing about it, the thing I've learned about pop culture is that there are periods of like highs and lows, but that's why a lot of the stuff I came to a realization it doesn't really bother me that much anymore, because I know it eventually. And Nick, I'm with you on this on having hope. I know eventually it will even out, because all this stuff is a cycle. When you look at like the history of comic books specifically, or like movies, or even comic book movies, there were highs and lows, and there was quality, bad quality, and eventually, I argue we're in an upward spiral right about now.
It is always darkest just before the dawn.
Yeah.
Jared, you set me up for that so well.
Yeah, I know. There you go. That's why I co-host this show.
Yes, that's why I don't pay you the big bucks.
I know. He actually has me chained up to a radiator in his basement.
Oh no.
And if you're extra good, Jared, I'll give you 2 peanuts instead of the usual 1.
Oh, goody!
So yeah, like the
Because
technical.
I mean, honestly, for every single thing that one of us could say, oh, you know, this feels like the darkest time since I could remember it for entertainment media, there's also a counterexample of, well, what about this shining beacon? We could, do whataboutism all day. Life's always been a bit of a mixed bag. You just have to take the bad with the good.
Support the good. And here's the thing. Here's what hate watchers don't realize. Because if you stop buying this stuff, if all of a sudden their revenue just stops, they will eventually be forced by their shareholders to reverse course because the shareholders want money.
Yeah, well, because green is the only important color.
So what you're saying is to stop those monsters. 1, 2, 3. Certified way that's trouble free. Just don't look. Just don't look.
Well, to Jared's point, I mean, Disney has lost billions now with this propaganda they've been shoveling. Yep. You know what the first department they let go was?
Diversity and equity
The
inclusion.
diversity of
Yep.
Do you know why?
Because they're worthless?
Well, because apparently, from what I'm hearing, internally, Disney realizes that that the reason why they're in this like financial like downturn is because of their push for that.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it goes back to the only color that matters in business is green. And all this stuff like this, like, here's the thing is like, how many people, honestly, do you, in your circle of friends or whatever, did you actually hear say, yo, you see that commercial for that Blade movie, man? Yeah, I ain't going to that. Some black guy in it. Nobody
has ever said
nobody.
that.
Nobody.
Nobody.
It's like, let me put it this way. When Wonder Woman was coming out, the first one, not the second one, I have to emphasize that, everyone was like, oh, sweet. It's a Wonder Woman movie. No one cared that she was a woman, although some people apparently care that she's Israeli. And I'm like, first off, what does that have to do with her playing a Wonder Woman? But I'm not going to go on a rant on that. My point is, the normal people, which are the majority of people, the people Disney and all these companies should be going for, don't care what a character looks like. If the store, and let me put it this way, for the longest time, my favorite Green Lantern was John frickin' Stewart. I didn't even know who Hal Jordan was.
Or like going like even in like you're going into the 2000s. Like we had 2 movies come out that had female led like heroes. You had like Catwoman and then Elektra. Like Catwoman, like there wasn't like that, like, but like look at the release of Elektra.
Berry, though.
Like if you look at the release, like I was there around Elektra, there was never any pushback for it, like for it be it's a female superhero, it's mad, like they weren't self-aggrandizing themselves. It was basically judged as just another movie. I mean, it helped that like Jennifer Garner was probably at the height of her stardom at the time. And Daredevil was actually a decently well-received movie at the time. Or like look at like Halle Berry as Storm. She was really well-loved as Storm. Like her character as Storm was really popular.
Yeah.
Storm Jackman as Wolverine.
Storm was probably one of the most popular X-Men in the 90s and the 2000s. Like
she led the team.
Yeah.
She was the lead and the Queen of Wakanda.
Yep.
Yeah, like Queen of Wakanda was like more of a 2000s kind of came a thing. Like, but like
he
was like when it comes to X-Men characters, Storm is probably like in the top 5, maybe in the top.
Yeah.
Or it's like, do you guys remember? And I think someone in the chat brought this up. So actually, it was the Peter Venkman fan side brought this up, and when Marvel really tried to like cater to like a specific audience, they ended up sounding really racist. Remember the comic "What If Miles Morales Was Thor"?
Oh my god!
Oh my!
Yeah, hang on, I'm gonna pull that up. Nick, please share this. I'll pull it up.
All right.
But basically, the whole lesson, I'm trying to say with this is, if you stop hate watching, the companies will either adapt because they're not making money or they'll die.
I mean, see, this is why I have hope, because I feel like we are reaching a point where people just don't care anymore. Like you don't have the COVID excuse anymore. Like these movies are just straight out bombing. And then you compare that to like No Way Home, or like look at Barbie. Like, yeah, it's woke trash, but it's still like okay. I'm sorry, but like someone quoted this on a podcast, and it's so great. Barbie is Black Panther for white girls.
Actually, here's the thing. That would be more true of the Starbucks movie.
No.
Oh god.
Barbie
There
is
you
literally-
go.
Barbie is Black Panther from White Girls. Like when I saw that, I was like, yes.
Oh look, here's Asgard. They basically made it like the hood, and I'm like,
No. It's not Asgard. It's Black Asgard.
It's
Yeah,
yo,
but
yo,
like-
yo, it's the god, yo.
Yeah, it's
Also,
by
like,
Odin's
graffiti
fate.
on
There you
Mjolnir.
go.
Because all black people
Literally
like
have a
music and
line in
basketball.
that comic where Miles goes, "My Odin's fate."
Yeah,
But we
wait,
know
it gets
Odin.
worse.
He's
It gets
fucking
worse.
bald.
Falcon's code name, that's this girl up here, is Hot Wings.
Oh,
I didn't notice that.
Throw a hot sauce in
No.
your purse.
Literally, you're gonna have Miles chomping on watermelon. I'd be like, yep,
Look,
that
Did you
makes
guys
sense.
did you guys see the Wakandan cookbook where they had like iced watermelon soup? Dude, watermelons don't
Wait,
exist in
did you
Africa.
see in a Captain America, in like a Black Panther comic, they literally had Captain America tell Black Panther to go back to Africa? I'm like, when are we going to admit that these companies are themselves racist at this point?
Well, they are. That's the problem. Malcolm X summed it up best. He's like, beware the white liberal. That is the fox. That's the one that.
Yep.
Because if you find racists on the conservative side, they're overt. They're honest. They're jerks, but they're honest. The white liberal is going to be the one that smiles to your face and stabs you in the back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like whenever you have whenever you have a minority from the north go to the south, they're like, oh crap, I'm going to rural Georgia, I'm gonna get lynched, and they go there and like everyone's all nice, like, hey, would you like some tea? Would you you okay?
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, what's
it's
up,
like
y'all?
holy
Sweet
crap,
tea.
people in the south are really nice. Like it's
Yeah.
it's
like,
I
that's
see
why I
all the freaking
maintain-
time.
And
It's like it's like the people in the South are just like these racist hicks, and it's just like, whereas like people in the South are literally some of the nicest, most generous people you can
Yeah.
imagine.
That's why they
It's
call
like-
it Southern hospitality.
Yeah, it's like-
Exactly.
that's
The women
why,
down there literally call you sugar.
That's why here's the
Oh,
the
bless
thing.
your heart.
Here's the thing, and yes, I will call out this individual. Dan Slott put on Twitter, the reason why they race bend characters, because if they make like a black version of Superman, let's say, that won't be the audience may reject them. So I'm like, you're telling me that those characters aren't good enough?
That's
to-
racist.
That is
original-
literally racist.
Original
really
black
is. Oh my
characters will
God.
not. Well, it's that marketing speak, that risk aversion, where they're like creating an original black character will never sell as well as blackwashing an established successful white character. And it's like, you do realize there hasn't been a Storm movie yet. You can't tell me that that's not going to freaking if you had like the origins of the X-Men that started with freaking Storm.
I would so
like-
go see that.
Yeah,
I
hell
would
yeah.
watch the hell out of that.
I mean, Storm actually has a really interesting backstory. Like,
Yeah,
she does.
she was like an African queen, and then like, especially if you go into like her pickpocketing days,
Yep.
in Cairo, like,
Yeah.
holy crap, like,
Her death of her parents in New York. Yeah, like there's a story there. There's a good story there.
like seriously, like if they would have like, imagine if they would have made an X-Men Origins Wolverine movie with Halle Berry back in 2008. That would have been so good.
Or how about this?
Yeah.
Instead of Ta-Nehisi Coates doing a black Clark Kent, how about he does a movie about like Icon?
and
Yeah.
it's like,
Because
the
he's
thing is-
conservative.
you notice how Miles Morales only started to work when they made him a Spider-Man instead of the Spider-Man. Like they basically just like they actually made him his own character and
Oh,
gave
yeah.
him like
Sure.
Actually, the way it actually works is that he worked, but the only reason why he stopped working is because they put him in the same universe as Peter frickin' Parker. The reason why
Yeah.
he worked when he first showed up is because Peter died.
Well,
Yeah.
what I find dumb about Miles though is it just reeks of Me Tooism, where it's like, or pick meism, where okay, so you got a black Spider-Man. Okay, well, why? Like, what are his characteristics? Like, tell me about Miles Morales without saying his race. Okay,
Like I will
And-
say, my only experience with Miles is the movies and his game, which I think is probably his best outings ever.
Well,
I think
yeah, but like they're like, you could hear, and I'm gonna say this because I'm part of the tribe. Okay, there's a bunch of Jewish producers going, hey, you know what? We got to get a black guy in there for diversity. Yeah, we could get Spider-Man in there. We'll make a black Spider-Man. That way we don't have to pay that the guy that created that crap or his estate. I know.
Also,
how about we do this? We got to make him different. Let's make him electric and go invisible and shit. Oh, the kids will love it.
Also, like, can we address this? Like, why does every black superhero have to have electricity powers?
I know. What is that about?
Yeah, I'm like, wait a
Kind of
second.
weird.
Like, you want to talk about one of the biggest freaking comic book tropes? What is it with like black people always, and I do mean always, having electric powers on some scale or form?
Yeah, that's what Nick was saying. Yeah, it's ridiculous because it's like they're like, well, we can't do fire because that's too reminiscent of certain days back when the guys with the white hoods would burn stuff in their front yard.
Meanwhile, they've literally created black characters that literally wore a noose around their neck as a character, and wore an executioner hood.
Hell,
like, seriously.
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah.
And Nick and I know this because we talked about this when we read New Frontier. The design for John Henry Irons at that time, because it takes place in the 60s, is just that: noose, the hood, and the hammer.
Oh my god!
And it's super cool. He beats up a bunch of
like,
racists.
I'm gonna say something, like, and this might be a bit of a hot take. I think Rocket is like a much better character to fill the Riri Shuri role, like the know-it-all, like African American kind of tech genius. I think her character is a lot more interesting, and I would want to see her pushed over Shuri and Riri.
Well, remember, and then with Riri shouldn't even exist, because here's the thing: the only reason why Riri exists is because Bendis wanted a black Iron character for his daughters to look up to. That's fine. That's admirable. I like that. But he ignored War Machine's daughter because he wouldn't get residuals if he brought in War Machine's daughter.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Like, it would make perfect sense if you did War Machine's daughter. Like, there's a dozen different ways. You could literally have Rhodey break his back, and his daughter becomes the new War Machine.
I freaking hate the let's take an established white male character and then just slop a chick in there, or slot like a female version, or like just drop a black guy in there or something.
Or it's like
give me a new character.
Storm. Like,
there's no male Storm.
Or it's like with Jace Fox becoming
where
Batman.
is our white Black Panther?
Exactly.
Or when they did Jace Fox as Batman, as the Black Batman, the reason why they used him instead of Luke Fox, as I thought they would, because that would make sense, is because they didn't want to give Dan DiDio any residual cash, because Dan DiDio was a co-creator of him.
Wait, isn't one of those characters, wasn't he like Batwing, like the Iron Man Batman character?
That's Luke Fox. And everyone thought when they said they were going to do a Black Batman, okay, Luke Fox becomes Batman. That's actually really interesting. Oh, it's this random long lost Fox brother?
Yeah, like, honestly, like, I have no problem with Batwing, like, being part of the Bat family. I think, like, okay, sure, it's different enough.
He's cool.
Like, I'm just mad that, like, they should, like, they kind of pushed him in, like, the early teens, but they dropped that character hard, and I am mad.
And let's not forget, they butchered him in Batwoman.
Do you remember High School Batman, where they turned him Asian?
Oh,
and Alfred became gay.
Don't even.
Oh, so
Snowflake
Jared.
in Safe Space, anyone?
All right.
You want to go jump off a building.
But seriously though, Jared, I guess I'm gonna kick you out because you're getting a little bit hangry, so you should go eat.
all right. Yeah,
all right,
I put in there.
words?
I have to go eat dinner. I'll see y'all later.
Bye.
Have a good one, man.
Have a good one.
Now, the one thing that I wanted to mention, because I find this really funny, is when they do things like, I think they called Riri eventually Ironheart, is that when they do these diversity characters and they get them into these positions, they basically make them villains, and yet somehow they manage to retain the hero role while still acting like
that's ideology.
A complete utter villain.
Also, like, you want to know how bad it's gotten? Like they've gotten so bad is that they're literally giving the hero arcs to the villains, aka Barbie. Like literally, Barbie is a male empowerment movie if you really think about it.
Yeah,
Up
Yeah,
until
because
the
you
end.
subjugate. Yeah, Ken was a second-class citizen.
he was.
You see this.
Free
You see
my
this all.
man!
Like you literally see this all the time. Like these leftoids. Like Rorschach. Like they create these villains and like they put all like the things they hate into these characters, and people latch onto these characters because they can relate to them more. Like Alan Moore's like, why do people like Rorschach? These fat
Because he's honest. I love
Yes.
Rorschach.
Okay, so like let's really look at Rorschach though. He was like he grew up abused.
Mhm.
He kind of saw the world in this very black and white way. You know, and maybe it wasn't always like the best or the healthiest, but the man
A
stuck
equals
to his
A.
morals.
No,
He stuck to his morals and he was honest about it.
Yeah, you knew when the chips were down, he was still a good guy. He was an asshole. He did some violently terrible things, and even Night Owl there or whatever was like, dude, you're a prick. Like you're like coming into my house, like breaking locks, eating my canned beans and stuff.
But you notice how
Dude,
like
what the fuck?
even though Night Owl is saying that, like he sees him eating the pins.
still-
Like, you want me to heat those up for you? You know?
Yeah. He still
Yeah.
sees them as somebody to care about. And that's the thing is when the chips were down, Rorschach was right. He had their backs.
And
Like-
the thing is, I think like
He was a
Night
bro through and through.
I think Night Owl deep down knew he was right, even if he didn't want to admit it. Deep down, he knew he was right.
Dude, and Rorschach had the best one-liners ever. His monologues and narration. Oh my God, chef's kiss.
The sequence of when Rorschach was really born. Like, I'm sorry, but like that scene where you see the dogs fighting over the girl's legs, that is
Oh.
disturbing. That is,
It is.
oh my freaking God, that still creeps me out to this day.
It's
Thank you,
horror.
Zack
Yeah,
Snyder.
it's horrifying. Yeah, but it's like, oh, sorry.
I was gonna say I've only really seen the movie and I really liked it. But my
Yeah.
favorite point is at the end where Rorschach is finally killed and Night Owl's like screaming out.
Yep. No.
Like
Also-
'cause, you know, like he didn't want that to happen. Rorschach is for the most part technically innocent in all this. Like
Well, he was
not-
right.
And he was right.
And also, can we acknowledge Rorschach literally got the last laugh?
Yep, with
He
the
did.
journal.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, but like Rorschach represents unyielding, objective moralism, and that is enemy number one in our Marxist-controlled media.
Yeah,
now.
like the thing
They
is,
wanna
is.
push
Rorschach
moral
represents
relativism.
represents libertarianism in its purest form.
Well,
And
well,
the
he also-
other thing
oh,
is,
sorry.
the thing is, characters like Rorschach are tied to like Steve Ditko because like Steve Ditko had his character like Rorschach, the Question. They all trace back to the Mr. A character, which is a Steve Ditko character. Steve Ditko, co-creator of Spider-Man, and he was an objective libertarian. And the thing is, the comic industry, they hate Steve Ditko, but they have to pay him lip service because he's the co-creator. Because he's the co-creator of Spider-Man. Like that, they can't go at, because like if they denigrate him, they denigrate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Like
brand
that's
damage.
why you only see us like take pot shots. Like I was actually really surprised in Justice League Unlimited, where they actually paid tribute to Steve Ditko, where they had the Question do the A equals A speech, which is a straight out tribute to Steve Ditko.
But like
Question's also pretty
the
great character.
unyielding moral objectivism though is an enemy of the ideology being pushed through our media today.
Yeah.
I mean, why do you think all socialist movements, the first thing they do is get rid of religion because
Yep.
they want to supplant, like why do you think
It's because Marxism is a religion.
It's not just that Marxism is a religion, because people have a natural inclination to seek religion of some sort, what they've been trying to do is replace religion of God or gods or whatever they worship to a religion of the state. They worship the government. They worship these tech companies. There's videos out there of Steve Cook literally doing a sermon in priestly robes. Like why do you think a lot if you look at any of these like announcements, they all play out like church services. Like, go back and look at any Apple announcement.
Yep. Yeah.
Of like
yeah,
like
absolutely.
Steve Jobs, of the
Consumerism,
Steve
yeah.
Jobs era. They are basically technical tech sermons. And
Yeah.
Steve Jobs is literally dressed like a Silicon Valley Catholic priest.
And
well,
Like,
just
once
to-
you see it, you cannot unsee it.
just to add again to the Rorschach thing, Rorschach also symbolizes the uncancelable character who unapologetically says what we all want to say and has zero repercussions for it.
right.
You know, the speech about the sewers and the grates and the politicians all crying out for help, and he whispers back, "No." Like that. There's also other things where he's talking about how her own degenerate lifestyle led to her demise or whatever. Those are things that people can't say today.
Yeah.
But we all feel it in our bones.
Yeah, we want to say
Yeah.
it. We know it's there.
And this is why, and this goes back to my hope, this is why socialism will never win. This is why socialism has never won. Like, if you look back at, like, this is why, like, oh, not true socialism. This is why the Soviet state failed. This is why the Cuban state is failing. It's because people's natural inclinations are not towards socialism. This is why capitalism is the only system throughout history that has worked kind of.
Yeah.
I'm not saying capitalism is perfect, but capitalism is the only system that still work within their natural tendencies. Like, capitalism takes the worst part of humanity and can kind of incentivize it into some sort of public good.
Well, yeah, it assumes people are naturally bad, which you have to. You have to put in protections to protect you from human greed, which is a base human desire. Okay,
Yep.
Like, for example,
socialism is naive. It thinks that people are
for
essentially
example,
good.
the only thing stopping a politician from putting us all into chains and making us work at slave labor camps is because then no one will buy their stuff. Like, this is the thing you got to remember. This is why society will never truly collapse, because if society really collapses, no one can buy the microwaves, no one can buy the iPhones. Like, there is a financial incentive to keep the world at least somewhat okay. Like, if you take nothing from this stream, remember, no matter what, things will always at least be okay. I know that's not the best message, but the world will not go to shit. It will not, because then nobody will buy the iPhones.
Yeah, bad stuff will happen, but eventually homeostasis will bring
exactly,
us back
and we're
to a
seeing
level
this
of
happen
normal.
right now. We're literally, nature has found a way. Nature is healing. Like, we're like literally before our eyes right now. We're starting to see the shift back towards the center. We might see the pendulum. The problem with the pendulum is it tends to
Always swinging.
overcorrect. It tends to
Yep.
overcorrect. And we will start to see more of a but the problem is, like, the thing about that is, like, you kind of started to see, like, a lot of the conservative politicians, like, pick up on this, and, like, they've tried to preach more, like, traditional conservatism, and, like, people have rejected it.
Yeah.
Like the Matt Walshes of the world,
Yeah.
you know, and are like, yeah, we believe in equal rights for people, but yeah, gay people are still people. Like, sure, traditional marriage is great, you know, but, like, that's why I don't think it'll be as bad. Like, we're not going to see the religious right rise again. Like, that's not going to happen.
Well, I like what Roseanne Barr said during an interview where she's like, I've always considered myself left, but now because I'm right of Stalin, I'm considered a far right extremist.
And that's the problem is I think the Overton window is going to shift, like, back to the right a little bit. And I think that might help out a lot, because also, here's the other thing. Like, in the 2010s, we saw a lot of displaced leftists go to the right.
Yep.
And I think that actually kind of shifted the right a little bit towards the left, because you had a lot of, like, you know, like, trans people, like the Blair Whites of the world,
Yep.
you know, right spaces that are welcome. And you had people like, okay, trans people aren't that bad. You know, they're people. Like, I think we're going to see the Overton window kind of center around the center. Like, that's my prediction.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, because, like, I've always considered myself pretty left-leaning. I stopped being left-leaning when the moment I disagreed on one topic.
Yeah, like, I was raised in a leftist household. My dad was a union auto worker. Like, I voted like, my first cast my first vote in 2006, and I always voted straight Democrat until 2016. You know, and it's like, I'm like, my story is not unique. I was a leftist, and then I was told, oh, you're not wanted here, and then I was welcome on the other side with open arms. And it's
Yep.
like,
See,
this happens time after time after time.
Yeah, and for me, it's kind of mine's a little weird because I grew up in a very conservative family. I swung really hard to the left, and then after I got out of college, I basically just kind of did a whole bunch of, different research. And I wouldn't say I swung to the right, but I definitely swung back to the center where I lean right.
I think most of us are like, I think the average person is somewhere in the center with tendencies towards one side or the other.
Yeah,
I think extremes though, that's our media doing that.
Yeah, I would say like I was very much a liberal growing up, and then like I got kicked out of my parents' house, and I lived with like a Southern Baptist minister. Like he was a preacher for over 60 years, like hardcore conservative. Really great guy. I love him. He was a father I always needed.
Nice.
So that kind of helped with things. And I think at my worst, I considered myself a libertarian. That's as far right as I went. But over the years, he disconnected. He'll be back. But like over the years, I've kind of seen myself drifted back towards like, now I'm like center, maybe classically liberal is probably as far left as I'd go. But I'm kind of like center right, center, maybe classical liberal. That's kind of where I'm at now.
Yeah, I definitely have a lot of, especially coming from New Hampshire, live free or die.
New Hampshire.
I definitely have, New Hampshire. I have a lot of libertarian leanings, mainly like I think was a speech Ronald Reagan gave where he said, was it the 9 scariest words you could ever hear together is I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that's the thing is the less bureaucracy we have, the better off we are. And all of the stuff that I've seen coming from the left has been, the world is systemically racist. The government has been screwing people over. Let's vote for more government. It's like, wait, what? Like you're the problem, and you're telling us to vote for you.
Like here's the thing, like, and this is like another like we're talking about old media. Like go back and look at like TV in like the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Like black television dominated. Like literally the Cosby Show was the highest rated show in the late 80s when everyone was supposedly racist. Like look at UPN's output. Look at UPN's output in the 90s and the 2000s.
Dude, remember ABC's what is it? Friday TGIF?
Oh my God, that was my jam. That was my Family Matters. Yeah, Family Matters.
I was a big Urkel fan, man.
The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was also very huge.
Yes, dude, like Fresh Prince, like Urkel,
Living Single.
In Living Color, Martin,
like the Hughley Show.
For the old Disney fans, the Proud Family was also massive too.
Yeah.
Can I just say?
And then even on the. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Nick.
I was gonna say, since you guys brought up the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I don't think I've ever really related to a character, especially in live action, as much as I did to Will. Especially
also we got to bring this up, like 2000s, like Boondocks from 2000s.
Oh yeah, Boondocks.
Huey.
Also, I just want to say, if you actually go back and watch the Boondocks, animation wise, it runs circles around everything released today.
It's a
definitely.
masterful anime.
Like that is like when we think of of what American anime should be, the Boondocks is literally it.
And might I say that my favorite, there's no other racist caricature that I love more than Uncle Ruckus, no relation.
Here. But
the man who is blacker than night considers himself as lily white as they come.
Yeah, young man. I have a reverse vitiligo. It's a real condition.
That reminds me of like I'm not gonna say the word, but like the white people who act like they're black. Let's just say IG-er with a W. Like I'm trying to avoid like
I like Nintendo accidentally posted when they were talking about Wigglers. And they forgot.
He said it, not me. He said it, not me. But like it's like oh you see this freckle? That's my skin. The rest of me's a scar.
But as I was saying, I'm not black, and I'm not like a dude. right? I think that's pretty fucking obvious.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there was no one I related to more growing up than Will Smith's character in Fresh Prince. And it stems mostly because he was kind of the first character I had seen that whose dad was not in his life, and he had in that one episode with him and Uncle Phil.
Oh my god.
This
Yeah,
day
I'm literally
makes me
thinking of that
cry.
scene. Yeah, I'm thinking of it right now, and like,
Because
yeah.
those are and like I got over my daddy issues a long time ago. Like if he doesn't want me in his life, that's fine. I don't give a fuck one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember very vividly growing up and being absolutely crushed that I didn't have a father in my life that wanted me.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing Will actually portray that in Fresh Prince and getting the emotion of it and like everything they go through, you go through like, oh yeah, well no, it's fine. I didn't even want him around anyway. To why doesn't he want me around? What's wrong with me?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a gut punch episode.
Yeah, and it's just like the way it ramps up, like a masterclass of acting on both of their parts, but
Absolutely.
especially Will Smith. Like it starts out like he's calm, but like the trends, like he ramps it up, and it's like just this like the way it just kind of ramps up and whatnot. It's just crazy.
But it also helps too to see Uncle Phil there taking on the role of a father, and that's
You could say Uncle Phil really shredded that scene.
yeah.
Orokosaki.
No. Do you guys get like the
Yes,
depth
he
of
was
that
the
joke?
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like, I think that's one of the biggest reasons that I don't believe in this whole. Oh, they have to look like me so I can feel validated. I didn't need Will Smith to look like me to relate to him, to relate to his character.
That's because you're not
Like
a
I said-
narcissist.
Yeah, but like, just knowing that there were characters out there who I could relate to on an emotional level, on a level that like actually resonated with me more than skin deep. It feels good. And like I don't watch The Fresh Prince very often, and I'm certainly not watching the god awful looking remake.
No, that's awful.
Yeah.
But that episode is going to stay with me until the day I die because it really helped me to realize that it's not my fault. That it's my father's fault. He's just a piece of shit.
I'm gonna
And,
quote Zack Snyder's Justice League to you. You're not broken, and you're not alone.
Yeah.
And one of the things that these companies don't seem to understand is it's not necessarily the characters themselves, their physical appearance that we relate to. We relate to their stories.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah.
if so long as you're
Exactly.
not a narcissist.
Well, there's a good example with Pixar. I mean, you had Wall-E, it was an animated trash can. And how many of us were feeling all sad and stuff at the end when he got factory reset? And Eve was like, oh my God, I just lost the love of my life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, representation is a narcissist's
Or
war cry.
I like. You want to know a great way to make me cry? Put on Bye Bye Butterfree.
Oh, no.
Oh, my heart.
Like I'm sorry, but like that just gets me in the gut punch because like it's like it was like literally Ash's one, like the first Pokemon Ash ever caught.
Yep.
It was clutch for like a lot of his early battles, and it's like he's leaving not because they hate each other, but because Ash wants them to have a better life. It's like you felt like it's like if you love something, let it go. It's just like sorry.
Satoshi, Jeanne.
It's just like the music. It's just like, oh my god, that's a like.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. A lot of the people nowadays, they're either tired of being pandered to, or it's often one or the other. They're either tired of being pandered to and they just want the good stories that they can relate to and draw inspiration from, or they're like, no, pander to me more because all I want is to be, validated for what I am rather than who I am.
the problem with stories as now as opposed to earlier is people can't see themselves in these characters because it used to be like even as far as late as like the early 2010s, like there was such a wide variety of characters, stories, and stuff that you could see yourself find a character to see yourself. But nowadays, all the characters are basically like even if they live in rural Idaho, they still act like a coastal 30-year-old white woman.
Yeah, well, that's born
Yeah.
from a boardroom. I mean, that's the problem with
No,
today's
Master
media.
Sergeant, no.
The problem with today's media is that it doesn't understand that you have different markets. Everything needs to be homogenized and pasteurized and for a mass appeal. And
Well,
when
the
you do
problem
that,
is
you don't appeal to anyone.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like they've homogenized it so much that it really only has like the narrowest of appeals. Like all it does is appeal to like 30-year-old millennials who either have children or most likely don't have children, and they're trying to relive their childhood vicariously through these shows. That is the market they cater to.
Well, the way I see it, like as somebody who's of mixed race, you know, I've got the Korean side, I got the Jewish side, or whatever. I don't.
Oh my
watch...
god, both sides must hate each other.
Yeah, actually, yeah. But when I watch Korean Sagyuk, which is like period dramas or whatever, I don't want to see white people in them because it's a period piece about like medieval Korea, essentially. So it's like historical fiction drama about areas during like the Chosun period or whatever in Korea, and it's a fantasy. It's kind of like wuxia, which is a Asian fantasy genre. I don't want to see like Latinos or white people or black people in wuxia.
Wait, didn't you know that Anne Boleyn was a black woman?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. It's only one way now, where we have European fantasy. Nothing looks dumber to me than stuffing an American black dude in a European medieval knight armor.
Or even worse, it's like everyone like Chris, you're like we kind of talked about this I think on Super Swimmer Bros, but like it's like people have been asking for an Assassin's Creed. You know exactly where I'm going with this, Chris.
Yeah.
They've been wanting Assassin's Creed set in Japan. It's been their Hail Mary, and they finally do it, but they just found a way to fuck it up. Nature found a way, and it's like, oh wait, there was a black samurai. So
actually there was, but there was
Yasuke,
only one guy.
Yeah,
and they're not doing the story about him. It's a black samurai.
Yeah.
Oh, boo!
And it's so
if
dumb
they
because
actually included Yasuke in it, it would be infinitely better. But no, it just had to be some random dude who happened to be black in period Japan. That just does not happen.
Like if it was Yasuke, they could at least have the historical excuse. Like this guy actually existed. He was actually a samurai. Like they could at least lean on that, you know.
Well, it's like if they do this Assassin's Creed and it does take place during the Sengoku period, and all of a sudden Ieyasu Tokugawa or Tokugawa Ieyasu, depending on how you want to read it, pulls off his kabuto, his helmet, and it's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy, I would be just as pissed.
Oh,
I'd be
absolutely.
like, what the
back in the 2000s, we called that whitewashing.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's disgusting because they're trying to represent. No, dude, you have to understand there are different markets. It's like the Lord of the Rings. I don't want to see black hobbits. I don't want to see black elves. That's not.
You know how you do
Britain.
Representation? You do an Assassin's Creed in Egypt and you have it star a black person because there's black people. Or like, where is our Kenyan Assassin's Creed? Like, I actually think it would be cool to see like an African savannah or like some
especially
sort of thing.
Since Egypt is a lot more Mediterranean than it is like
actually
interior African.
What about an apartheid Assassin's Creed set in South Africa in like this or even like the 60s? Like imagine, and it started like a black guy in apartheid South Africa, or like even the 1800s, like the late 1800s, because like how
they had
cool would that be?
They had the Cry of Freedom or the Song of Freedom or whatever expansion for Black Flag, and then they had Evangeline there who had a really cool mechanic where she could swap her costume and it gave her access to different types of abilities. Like she could wear her ball, like she was a black aristocrat essentially in southern United States antebellum. and yeah, she could walk around as like a in the proper dress or whatever and slip past guards, or she could go into her assassin's gear and become do all the climbing and the rope shots and all that stuff. And it was cool, and it was like, this wasn't blackwash. This is like legit. You can actually you could watermark this in the or benchmark this throughout the entire history books and go, that character could have existed right there. We have proof. We have photographs.
Yeah,
But
that's
here's
kind of
the- here's
been
the
my
thing that,
main gripe about historical.
Here's the gameplay mechanic that like Ubisoft is literally just like throwing away money. Here's the thing about women in antiquity. There are places only a woman can go.
Yep.
Like, especially in those antiquity places, which would make them masterful assassins. Like, you have every reason in the world for, like, let's say, like 1600s Germany or 1791 New York or something. Like, a lot of these aristocratic places to have a female assassin who, because there are places only a woman could go.
Yeah, most actually. Here's a funny fact for you too. During the Sengoku period, the majority of ninja that they hired that were the most effective were called kunoichi, which is female ninja. And those were the ones that got the job done. Those were your assassins because they were.
Imagine Assassin's Creed in Japan, and it was starring a kunichi. Like I'm sorry, that would be like the best-selling game for 10 years. Like, because like a hot Asian female assassin,
dude.
Like the action figures sell themselves.
When I was on the narrative team, we actually there was a story of a orphanage woman. She was a nun who took in orphans, and we used that as her training grounds for assassins.
That sounds cool.
Damn.
Yeah, and it's funny too because the concept art that we got, we made her look like our translator. So not only did we have Hattori Hanzo, who looked like one of our designers, we had the orphan, was it Momotomi or something? I'll have to look her up. But I'll send the pic of what she looks like later. But and there's a legit historical thing there, and it's like, guys, this wrote itself for us.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, tell me that you don't do, historical research for your period historical fiction without telling me that you're not doing the research.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like when the Battlefield World War II game came out, and it was obvious even to like the people who had a cursory understanding of World War II. It's like, why is there a woman with a gimp hand on the battlefield? And why is there also the biggest thing is, why is there a Turkish man with a samurai sword in the European theater?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if you really want to include, women that badly in World War II, you could have done a period game about the Night Witches.
Or even better, who here has seen Enemy at the Gates, the movie? Like, did you know, there were female soldiers in the Russian army?
Oh, absolutely.
And you could and it's it's not that much of a leap of logic to say they are female snipers. It's not that big of a leap of logic. So you could literally make a story about a female sniper in Russia during the Battle of Stalingrad. Like, that would be a cool game.
I posted Chiyomi Mochizuki. That was the character. There's a link in the private. That's what this character looked like. This would have been freaking badass.
Oh wow, yeah, that would have been amazing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Imagine imagine a Ghost of Tsushima style game with this woman.
Yeah, and she could, like you said, get into places that men couldn't, so she could get extra close. And I'm a concubine or whatever, because that's what she did with her in the historical Chiyomi Mochizuki did. She was an orphan, head of the orphan, but she actually trained concubines. Well, guess what? There you go. There's your assassins, an entire army of concubine assassins.
Yeah, because just imagine you have a tyrannical ruler. Basically, you have this woman. She places herself in the concubine area. She's inserts herself because these people, they don't keep track of the woman. They're just another pretty face to them.
Yep.
And so she gets really up close to where the guy, Like, just imagine she has like a knife on her in her thigh or something, and just like stabs him, and then she can just slip out without anyone really noticing.
Yeah,
Or-
Chiome would have been an awesome main character for an Assassin's Creed game.
Hell, or even one of her students. Yeah, like
Or actually, imagine a Japanese medieval style game, but like Hitman style. Like, imagine you have like Hitman style levels, but you're a woman trying to assassinate a ruler, and you have like multiple options. Like, dear God, that game would be awesome.
Well, picture this: you're a student of Chiyomi Mochizuki, okay? Because that's how the Assassin's Creed games work. Is we don't actually give you to play historical figures; we give you historical figures as your supporting cast. But like almost every assassin is named after an eagle. You know, Altair means eagle, Ezio means eagle. Whatever, but anyways, so you've got this character, like the one that I made was Taka something or other. But anyways, she's a student, you know, she's the concubine. It's her first job to go assassinate this daimyo, which are like the rulers. She goes in there. Now you can go in brute force and cha-cha, you know, and do some freaking Tenchu assassin.
So you're
stuff.
saying stealth is optional for this mission?
Well, that's how it is in all Assassin's Creed games. Like you could go bells to the wall in there. But here's where it could get fun, like you were saying with the Hitman stuff. You're just a lowly woman. You walked in there, you got close, you're doing your business, you know. He thinks he's gonna bang a hot little Mochizuki girl, you know, and she pulls out her Aikuchi and you know cuts him a new one, and then
you could say she really stuck it to him.
Yeah, sticks him like a pig, cuts off his thing or whatever. I don't know, but kills him. And then she cuts a hole through the wall, sets the building on fire, punches herself a few times, and when the guards come in, yes, a man came in here and assassinated him. There was a ninja. Boom, instant victory.
Like
you didn't have to fight your way out or anything.
Because like the guards, like as soon as they see like those scars, you know, like she could like kind of cut herself a few times, maybe even stab herself. Yeah. Like imagine she has like a stab wound on her side. Like they're not gonna believe, like they don't want to believe a woman assassinated their guy. So like the woman like, oh, he came in here, you know, because like, you know, the first out you protect the woman. They're like, okay, she didn't do it. Let's find who else, and they immediately ignore her.
Yeah, exactly, and that's where you could get interesting game.
This is what so many game creators and so many people just miss is they keep trying to like treat women like men, and they keep trying to put these in this, like women can do stuff that men can't, and like we need more stories that exploit that and like do stuff like this, like women have like there are certain things about a woman that allow her to slip in. Like, yeah, men can do stuff that women can, but here's the thing: it evens out. It's like that's what people just don't get, and it frustrates me because like women can do all sorts of really cool shit that men can't, and I'm envious of some of it. But like, yeah, and there's some stuff that men can do that women can't, and it's just it's sorry. Go ahead, Nix.
Oh no, I'm just agreeing with you. I said as a woman, I agree.
Well, that's like there's a lot of historical misconceptions about ninja. Like a lot of samurai were actually ninja, but like a lot of the ninjas' jobs, especially the low level ones, were generally about spying and reporting. So they didn't actually assassinate, but like part of their repertoire was the three principles of heaven, earth, and I can't remember what the third one was. But basically, when they are trained actors. Like these are master thespians that would give Shakespeare a run for his money.
That's why historically, you know, that's why there's always been this mistrust of actors, even to this modern day. Yeah. Like, I mean, part of it was actors by their very nature were transient. So like you'd have an actor come to town, like they maybe be there for like a week or two. So like, you know, like they could mess up all sorts of shit, but then they just leave town. So yeah, that was part of it, but also like was the acting thing. Yeah.
Now imagine that in a game mechanic where you're like, oh, like the tension where you're like, oh, did I convince him? Oh God, I got away with it.
The problem with that is like I could just see a game designer taking that idea for a mechanic and just turning it into like a dialogue tree and like a skill check kind of thing. Because like this is where our like TT RPGs can really shine. Because like some RPGs they make it a role. But some of them, you've actually got to like literally talk your way out of it. Where like, oh, you want to convince the guard? Okay, what do you say? And you literally have to use your own words. It's like, oh, it's not their character's charisma score that's winning the game; it's your charisma score that's winning.
Well, even mechanically though, you could set up like evidence, like in that awful was it the Noir game there, where you had to collect
LA
the evidence.
Noir.
Yeah, LA Noir, where you had to collect the evidence and then you interviewed the person. Well, you could do that as a mechanic where you're actually creating the false evidence. You're like, if you didn't set fire, like if you didn't tip over that torch or or burn that wall to like look like somebody actually cut through it or whatever, when you tried to do the whatever it is, the like the acting BS to get out of it, like the mechanics would be like looking for, okay, you did 2 out of the 6 evidence things or whatever, so you're gonna have a harder time or whatever versus
Or like
somebody.
Or like just imagine like you had the fire set to like a timer, like a candle or something. And so basically you need to have the assassination happen just as the fire is getting bad. So like for example, if you're going through a dialogue tree and if you're too late, it becomes harder, or if you're too early, it becomes harder. But you have to do it within a certain window. Like that just makes for really engaging game design.
Hell, and dude, that is tension. Like oh shit. Like you're trying to do it, like, goddamn, shut this guy up! I need to kill him now. Like,
yeah, or like let's say like, oh holy crap, my window's almost over. So you hastily have to stab him, and that creates more suspicion for you. Sure, you're in the fire window, but because of how it happened, it creates a little bit more suspicion. Like,
I didn't do it. There's a bloody knife in your hand.
Like imagine like a game mechanic where like if you have the knife in your inventory, it'd be more suspicious. You literally have to drop the knife from your inventory.
Just hide the evidence or throw it out. Yeah, exactly. Like those are fun mechanics, and trying to like you're basically like and when you make your player feel smart for doing things that they think that the designer didn't anticipate, like that's the whole crux of Breath of the Wild.
Exactly.
But when you do that, dude, you've got a fan out of that player. That player's like, well, what else can I do? If I could get away with this, what else?
People love emergent gameplay. I believe that's the official term for it.
Yep.
And I think that's kind of the problem with Tears of the Kingdom, where like they tried to recreate that, but the problem with the emergent gameplay in Tears of the Kingdom is it's not something that you could universally recreate. Like, yeah, you can create a freaking Gundam, but like not everyone can do that. But like the stuff in Zelda, it's like, okay, I can at least see how they do it, and like I might not be able to do it, but like I might be able to.
Yeah, that I don't know. I would love to see games go beyond like the 20-plus-year-old game designs that we have now, because
honestly, I think they need to go back to the 20-plus-year-old game design, because like if you look at the game of 20-plus years ago, they were a lot more engaging than what we have now. Like,
because they were a lot more experimental back then too.
Yeah, the reason why people still look fondly upon old school World of Warcraft was because of emergent gameplay. Like you had like the South Shore versus Terran Mill PvP thing. Like you had like all like the PvP engagements, or like, I was getting ganked by someone, and then this high level thing guy just like swooped in and saved me, and then he like gave me some gear, and like we talked. Now he's my best friend. He's my best man at my wedding. Like stuff like that. We don't see that really as much anymore.
Well, here's another thing that I'd love to kind of put into the puddle here. When was the last time we had a truly good stealth game? Not like a game that had stealth in it, or a stealth plus game like Assassin's Creed, but like an actual stealth game like Thief.
The Dark Project.
I actually think there has been a few of them. I can't remember. I know Razorfist was talking about one a few years ago.
See, those are her concubines behind her, the ones that she's trained, her orphans.
I would totally if they did this as like an animated series, I would totally watch this.
Yeah, this is a historical scene where she beheaded a daimyo.
Imagine if they did a comic book in this style, I would read it.
Yeah.
By the way, any indie creators, if you're looking for ideas, here's one for you. If you make this comic, I will buy it.
So desu ne.
Nani? Okay, when did the Japanese person enter the call?
Nani?
That's the only word I know how to say. Nix, do you know any like Japanese phrases?
I do.
I don't do fortune.
Well, I lived and worked there. I better.
I was trying to get her to I was trying to get Nick to say like some cutesy anime phrases.
Kawaii, sugoi.
Never do that again. Never do that again. Never ever do that again.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
I did actually try to learn Japanese at one point. It did not go well.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I can speak it. I just can't read it.
All right, so let's wrap this show up. Otherwise, we'll be going for another 4 hours again. I don't want to do that to you guys. So we're gonna go Nix, Shion, Chris, and then myself. Last words. Anything you want to promote? Any links you want to share? Put in private chat. So Nix, go.
You can catch me on X at Bunny Girl Nix. Get me to 1,000 and I'll review the Avengers 200 with voices.
Alrighty. Shion, what do you got to say?
Well, I mean, you can always catch me on twitch.tv as loremaster_Shiro. I stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. In a couple hours, I'm actually going to be doing another Kingdom Hearts stream, so be there to see that. It'll be about 8 o'clock Mountain Time. As for the conversation, do your part, enjoy the old stuff, or, sail the 7 seas to get it, and make sure to support the creators who are making the good stuff now.
Hell yeah.
All right. Thank you. Peter Vinkman fan site says that. So Chris.
Kono
Dioda.
Yeah, speaking of creators, man, I've got the Infinitale Chronicles fantasy series. You can go to infinitaalechronicles.com and check out the first 15 pages for free of the first and second book. We're actually first book's available on Amazon under $10. And the second book, we're going to kick off the crowdfunding campaign at the end of this year, hopefully, knock on wood. And it's going to be a much bigger book, double everything. And
I do like big books, and I cannot lie.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, man. I had a blast tonight.
Always. You're a great co-host. So as for myself, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. We're at 375 subs, and if you can get me to 400 before the month is out, I will do a stream where I read Sins Past, the Spider-Man story, with voices, and I will do the face. If you know. Also, Screecher is on Global Comics, so check that out when you can. I would appreciate that. So, thank you guys. Another really great stream, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. As always, this is Nick from the Phoenix Press, and remember, I can only show you the door. You're the ones to walk through it.